Hey guys, my topic is tips from learning from lectures. And I did this topic because it's something that I wanted to learn a little bit more about and get a little more tips on what I could be doing to learn a little bit more from lectures. And so I'm wondering, have any of you guys ever walked out of a class and thought, I didn't learn a single thing, I just wasted a whole hour and a half of my time because this professor was just talking gibberish and I didn't get anything from it? Because I know I have. I want you to stop this video, think about some things that you could be doing to prepare yourself to learn a little bit more from a lecture. Okay, now that we're back, I will share a few of my tips with you that hopefully help you out to learn a little bit more from a lecture. And so there are some things that you could do before, during, and after class to prepare yourself. So some things that you could do before class is look at the syllabus. Look at what you will be talking about in the chapter you will be discussing, because you could go and read the chapter that you will be discussing. And if you have questions about what you're getting or what's in the chapter, write it down, write the page number down, and when the professor talks about it in class, ask them about it if your question doesn't get answered already. And that way you have a better understanding of it. You're not sitting here thinking the whole class period on one little thing that you could be like that you're not understanding, because then you're going to miss out on the rest of the class. Another thing that you could be doing is review notes. Look at your notes from the class before and just look over. You don't have to read them fully, just kind of skim over them, get an idea of it, remind yourself of them, and bring that with you to the next class. Keep that fresh in your mind, because what they talk about in this class probably is going to go off of the last class, because professors build off each other during their classes. So if you're confused on something that was talked about last class, they're probably going to bring it up this class and you're still going to be confused about it. So you're going to be thinking about that the whole class instead of what the new concepts that they're going to be teaching you. Some things that you could do during class, is a whole list of them, and I actually do some of these now, so they really help me out. One thing that you could do is sit near the front of the class. When you're sitting in the back of the class, you can see everybody. You can see every little thing that's going on. When someone's playing with their hair, getting in their book bag, getting a pen out, whatever they could be doing, you'll be seeing it. But if you're sitting at the front of the front of the class, you're not going to see every little thing. You might see a few things, but not as much as what you would be seeing at the back. And sitting at the front, you'll stay engaged. You'll be able to stay focused a little better. So that was one thing that I thought was really good. Another thing that you could do is take good notes. Make your notes organized. Have bullet points. Make abbreviations if you need to. Color coordinate them if you have to. I know that's what I do too. And it helps me tremendously. But whatever you have to do for your notes to make them organized and look good so you can learn off them, keep doing that. Stick to one type of note-taking skill you like to take, or if you'd like to take them all on your laptop or something like that, just keep them all in one area. Another thing you could do, if a professor talks about exam days, homework assignments, or study suggestions, jot those down too, because those are extremely helpful also. One last thing you could do during class is to use really good listening, because a lot of the times the professor might use different voice or change their volume when something is extremely important. You should remember that. They might not exactly tell you because they want you to actually make sure you're listening. So really listen on their volume and stuff, so you could jot that down if they keep repeating it. Another thing that you could do is, if they keep using the words like best, significant, those are probably going to be things that are going to be on your test also. Some things that you could do after class is go back through your notes, look over them, and if you've missed something or only wrote down half a sentence, go back through and fill that out the rest of the way, because a lot of the times the professor has a slideshow they went with the class, and they have that posted on Pilot, Google Classroom, whatever they prefer to use, and pull that slide back up, go through there, fill out what you missed, and then you'll have the full slideshow description that you wanted. And you can even go back through, and if you didn't even get anything at all from that slide, you could just go back to it and write down what you want right now. Another thing you could do is quiz yourself. You could go on Quizlet and make flashcards with questions and answers, and then you can just flip through those and you could review in a sense that way. Another way you could do it is ask questions with your classmates, or a group of you get together and just kind of do a little like review with each other, just asking questions and answering them in your own words, not necessarily directly off the notes, but in your own words. Another thing you could do is create a study guide, kind of like a new form of notes, but in your own words, like describing how you want to break it down, like with your vocabulary and important concepts and a brief explanation of those, and like underline them, make them bold, highlight them, whatever you have to do, so it's easier to look back on and just study from. One last thing that you could do is after class, you could discuss with a classmate what you learned from that, and they could tell you what they learned from the lecture, because you guys might learn 2 or 4 different things that you guys could combine on and think, oh, I thought this was important, or you could be like, well, I thought this was important, and then you guys could intertwine your main concepts that you learned, and it might help you both out. So I hope not all of these are going to work for every single person. Everyone learns in their own ways, and just a few of these might help you, or they all might help you. It's whatever your learning style is like. So hopefully you can at least pull one thing out of this. So what I want you to do is pull out a piece of paper and write down 3 new tips that you learned for taking or learning from a lecture. Just write down any 3 new things that you have learned, and then you can go ahead and turn that in for me.